I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and it got me thinking, because who is worse out of the following two human characters in Thomas and Friends? Sir Lowham Hatt or Mr. Bubbles? Two characters from the nitrogen era that I am not exactly the biggest fan of, if you've watched any of my previous ranking videos. So I thought I'd do a little versus video for SODORS BAWBAGS. I want this to be a more random, fun video. It's just a couple of pros and a couple of cons about these characters, and then I'll decide who is the bigger ball bag out of the two. But I will state, these are my personal opinions. Your thoughts will probably be different from mine, because it's the one thing that makes the Thomas fandom so unique. Let me know in the comments who you think is the bigger ball bag out of the two, Sir Lowham Hatt or Mr. Bubbles. All I ask is that you be respectful, and above all, just enjoy the video. Okay, let's go to our first competitor, Sir Loham Hatt. The pros of this character. He extends the Hatt family in the Thomas and Friends franchise. To this point, we did have some extensions of his family. We had Dowager Hatt, which was his mum, and we got Lady Hatt, his wife. But aside from that, we don't really know anything else about his family. Aside from the fact he's got grandkids. But even then, we don't know anything about his own children. At least not majorly. And then we get introduced to this big, lovable ball bag of destruction, and find out that he is in fact his twin brother. My thoughts in the episode aside, at least it expanded the lore of the Hatt family. The other pro was his character had potential if it was written right. I talk about this in the ranking video, where I do mention them, but the thing that annoys me the most is that when you get characters introduced into a franchise that do have potential to be well-rounded, fleshed out characters, and they are completely squandered. Loham falls into that category. No one in Sodor knew he had a twin brother, hence why he was able to cause the chaos that he did. So there was potential with this character. Why was he kept away for so long? What does he do? How the hell did he get knighted? What's their relationship like? Topham and Loham. There were possibilities there. But that also leads me into my first con. He was wrote like an absolute bellend. After you watch the episodes and you have a little think about it, you do realise there's potential with the character. But the episode itself with him in it is so bad, and his character is so badly written, that you don't want to see him again. And basically you never do. You don't know anything else about him. He just becomes a one-off character. And probably because people didn't like him, which is a shame, because there was potential, even though he is a complete walloper. Another con for me, he adds to the evil twin stereotype. Fans of the channel know that I am a dad of twin boys, and one of the stereotypes that I know my kids are eventually going to get hit with when they're older is, who's the good one and who's the evil one? This essentially plays into that stereotype, because Loham essentially is pegged as the bad twin. He does everything wrong, he causes extreme confusion and delay, and he's even got the evil villain mustache. Thomas and Friends was known for being quite inclusive, despite what people think. But they did fumble the ball a lot when it came to stereotypes. And sadly, this was a big one. And also the whole, one's called top ham, one's called low ham, high and low, good and bad. Don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but I did. And now we move on to Mr. Bubbles. And the first pro is that he was involved in a lot more storylines. Loham was in one episode and never really seen again or heard from again. Mr. Bubbles has been around since like the Hit era. He's always popped up in some way or another. So he's more like a recurring character on the show, for good reasons or bad reasons, on the same level as the other recurring characters, like Dowager Hatt and Lady Hatt, writing choices aside. The other pro is that whether you like it or not, you remember Mr. Bubbles. He sticks in your brain, because he's a clown, because he's vibrant, colourful, silly. Mr. Bubbles should stick in your brain because he should be more appealing to the target audience of that franchise at the time, which was babies, toddlers and young kids. So whether you like him or not, Mr. Bubbles is going to be stuck in your head the second you see him. But that also leads me into the bad points. And the first con is, we know nothing about the guy. He's been around since the Hit era and we know absolutely diddly squat about Mr. Bubbles. We know he's a clown, but that's really about it. You don't see the person underneath the makeup and out of all the Mr. Bubbles outfit stuff. Maybe it was a not wanting to break the illusion thing to kids, but this is a show where we have anthropomorphized steam engines. So seeing a clown without his clown gear on and makeup and maybe find out about the actual person wouldn't necessarily have been a bad thing. Or would they not want to go down the whole sad clown idea in case they go into Joker Batman territory? And con number 2, a lot of people point to Mr. Bubbles as the embodiment of everything that was wrong with the Thomas and Friends franchise. One of the things that made the classic seasons of Thomas and Friends so beloved is because they were grounded, relatable, and they dealt with issues that kids maybe not necessarily understood, but they appreciated not being talked down to and treated like kids. All those points, Mr. Bubbles, the complete opposite of that. He is your pander to kids character that's a bit wacky, gets into hijinks, has the bright colours, and the funny clown makeup, it doesn't say much. Kids don't know anything about him, and no one actually wants to know anything about him. And that's not a good thing when you're looking at such varied, rich, and complex characters that this franchise has to offer. So who do I think is the bigger ball bag out of those two? Mr. Bubbles or Sir Lowham Hatt? Believe it or not, it was actually quite a tough choice. I only kept my pros and cons to a minimum because that's all they were, minimal characters. But I think the bigger ball bag out of these two is Mr. Bubbles. And it's purely because he was around for so long in this franchise, popping up here and there from model era time, and we knew nothing about him. He was always treated as a joke because he was a clown, and people look at Mr. Bubbles and think he's everything wrong with the franchise. Lowham, while a ball bag in his own right, was only in one episode, was never seen again, but that actually irks you more because you know that there was a character in there with potential. It got you thinking about different scenarios for Lowham and the Hatt family dynamic. You can have a bad character where it makes you think about the potential within said character and how you would explore it. Mr. Bubbles done none of that. There you go, a little bit of a change up in the SODORS BAWBAGS format. A little versus of who was the bigger ball bag. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? And who do you think's the bigger ball bag out of the two? Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on chugging.